us how to pronounce her name properly, as well as Blessing. And Elle is the author of a book of her own. And it will be really interesting to hear how the two ladies interact and how they will be discussing the themes that Elle thinks are worth, going over in this segment. But as I said, we're running behind time. We're trying to be good stewards of our time. So if you can just be as succinct and to the point as possible, please, we would be so grateful. So over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Blessing. I'm grateful to be here. Man, reading chapter 3 was so amazing. To be honest, the whole book, I think I've read the first 3 chapters, and it's just truly amazing. As I was reading my own chapter, which is Value Who You Are, I was just taking notes the whole time. And, trying to put all of this into 10 minutes is not going to be easy. Please let me know if you can hear me.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
All right, perfect. So you are much more. We all are truly much more. Whenever all of us on here, whenever we get the book, you're going to understand everything that every single person has been saying on here. So the chapter I'm going to go over is Value Who You Are. And to keep to time, I'm going to try to put this, as quickly as possible, talk about all the points I want to talk about. So the first thing I want to ask, and I want us to think about, and again, it's all in line with what I've read from the book. You need to get it to read it and know where I'm coming from. All right. So value who you are. For you to value something, you need to know what that thing is. If you think about it, we place so much value on things like gold. Why? Or, on a hot day, whenever you get back home, you say, oh, I'm thirsty. You get a bottle of cold water and you say, oh, water is life. Why? So much value. If you're so thirsty, it doesn't matter how much the price of a bottle of water costs, you will get it. It doesn't matter. You will go get it. These are things and examples we see in our everyday life, right? So this chapter talks about valuing who you are. So my first question to all of us on here, to our minds, we've been talking about mindsets, is who are you? For you to value something, you need to know what value, or rather what worth, has been placed on it. And this is what this chapter talks about. As we are, at least all over the world, the US dollar is very dominant. And for example, I'm in Nigeria and the price of the dollar is going higher on a daily basis. There's so much value we have put on that. So I ask you, as a person, as people on here, as women on here, who are you truly? There was something that the book said, and that was what caused me to talk about this first point. It says, there is an inner wonder in you. Yes, there's so many things that may try to stop us, but if you think about it, a lot of us are big dreamers. We dream a lot. We have big ideas, grandiose ideas in our hearts and in our minds, but there's something that holds you back. For you to have such a grand idea about your life or your family or your business or what it is you want to do, that should tell you there's something about you that is trying to find expression. It's called an inner wonder. And Blessing tells us in this chapter that we need to unleash whatever that wonder is so we can become and keep becoming. I mean, think about it. I had the potential, and we all have potential. I had the potential to write a book. And not until I wrote it, I was not an author. So I had the potential to become more. And for me to become more, I had to step out. So who are you? whatever that feather of being an author has been added to my hat, or to Blessing, and even her coaching right now is being added to her hat. Because the more you find out who you are and you're able to express it, the more you become. The more you check off the boxes of life, the more you check off the boxes of destiny. The next point I'm going to go to, and I'm also going to ask a question in this, is when you know who you are, then you know what you can do. We know the purpose of water is to quench thirst, right? So the moment you discover who you are, again, y'all, you need to get this book and read it. It's going to blow your mind. I'm not going to give all the details because y'all need to read it. I need to read it also. I need to finish the rest. So I can't wait to purchase it and go over it for my own self. When you know who you are, then you know what you can do. Then you see doors begin to open for you. I took a step of faith to write my own book, How to Strip It Off. And due to me, but just on the basis of me writing that, I've been able to step out more, to do more things. People start recognizing you as an authority in your niche, an authority in your industry. But you need to be able to step out. So now one of my feathers is, okay, you're an author. So you should be able to speak to social people. You should be able to speak to business people. You should be able to tell us how to strip off things that are holding us back, how to strip off mindsets, which is, I believe, chapter 2. But however, there's something called fear. Fear comes into us like, oh, I want to do this thing, but then there's so much fear. And Blessing details about this in the book. And I'm going to read something that I took out from the book that was really struck out to me. It says, we often mix confusion and fear together. Most times we are afraid rather than confused. We know what to do and why we should do it, but we are afraid to act. And then we mix it with being confused. Have you ever wanted to do something in your life? There's this grand idea you have that you want to do, but there's fear behind. There's the limiting beliefs. There's the, what's it called? Imposter syndrome. You want to do something, but it keeps telling you, you can't do this. It's talking to your mind. Again, everything that Blessing has detailed in her book goes sequentially. She talks about the mind. She talks about how to overcome it, about the positive affirmations, even things with, the other speakers have talked about. If you have a negative, then you need to replace that, cancel that negative out, and then replace it with a positive. This book will help you, take you step by step to achieve the much more that is in you. Personally, just reading it, I have seen so many things that I'm like, wow, I need to get the book and finish the rest of the chapters. Because I've been taking notes to help my own self become more. Truly, it helps your mind to become more. So personally, there are things that I have said, oh, I'm confused on what to do. To be honest, I wasn't confused. I've always known what to do, but there's always that fear that comes and it seems like confusion. It just masks itself like, oh, I don't know what book to write or what to do next. Yes, you do. You're just afraid to step out. And Blessing highlights this in this chapter. So now, she also said something, and this is where I'm going to throw my question. She says, you are your own limitation, and you are also your own solution. Blessing, you're an inspiration to so many women, so many people that are watching you. People saw you without, something you detailed in the book. You went makeup, makeup free for a few days or weeks. And a lot of people were led to do that as well. That's awesome. So many people are following you, whether you know it or not. So many people are watching you, whether you know it or not. So you said you are your own limitation and you are also your own solution. My question to you is, as the inspiration that you are, what is next for you based on this? This question is to help you move into that next thing. Because guess what? Whenever you become, your potential is much higher to go to the next thing. So many people are looking up to you. By virtue of you writing this book, there's so many other people that will say, if Blessing could do that, I can do it. When they read this book, they're going to say, oh, she was able to overcome fear and her husband helped her, or, you know, someone pushed her, or she prayed and affirmations, and little by little, she kept moving. So Blessing, what is next for you as the inspiration that you are, that we can look up to? And also, this is a ground to help you push into that next thing that you need to do.
Thank you so much, Elle. Thank you so much. So I think the next thing for me now is to go out there and keep sharing my message. Because now God has given me a message based on my experience, based on things I've learned, based on my current knowledge. So the next thing is for me to go out there and fulfill the purpose that God has placed in my heart. So my next mission, is to go and, start sharing this message out. And then not just sharing the message, to also teach it. So I'm currently coming up with a framework that I will use to teach my students and my clients that will be coming to work with me, to help them grow and to help them become better. Because I believe that in helping people grow, I will be becoming better as well. And then secondly, I've got loads of other messages in me that I haven't come out to share yet, because I'm still working, behind the scene, to bring it out. So I've got, a sequel to You Are Much More, which I'll be unleashing very soon, by God's special grace.
Amazing.
So I've got a lot that I'm working on behind the scene that I'll be, bringing on to add to this, because to me, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just the starting point, with regards to what God has put in me to dish out there. So there's going to be a lot more coming out soon. So I'll just, indulge all of you to just, look out for the next book that'll be coming out soon. And then I hope to, of course, carry on sharing the message. I want to speak in Asia, speak in America, and of course, Europe and Africa. I want to carry on sharing this message until every youth, every young girl, every young child, especially every Black child, becomes much more and accepts and decide, to have the much more mindset. I'm not going to keep quiet, because that's what this voice has been made to do.
That is so amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that, and to be honest, you sharing this, we're going to keep you accountable. So I look forward to the sequel. I look forward to all the things that, you've spoken about. And then lastly, because I know I'm already out of time, is that when you know what it is you're supposed to do, it's time to run. One of the biggest takeaways from this chapter is called courage. Being able to move forward despite your limiting beliefs, despite the fears, just being able to do it afraid, whatever it is. Courage will help you beat procrastination. Courage will help you find worth in yourself. Being able to do something increases your confidence. You saying you're going to do something and sticking to it increases your confidence as a person. And the last quote that I'm going to speak on, based on the book and chapter 3, is there is no wrong choice if you make a decision based on the information you have at the time. So many times I have thought, I made a mistake by doing what I did. I made a mistake by maybe I don't know if anyone has experienced this. Let's say if you've ever given a message to people, and then when you're done, you're like, you start remembering all the things you didn't say. If you're a pastor or whoever or wherever, if you speak to a group of people, for me personally, there have been times that I've spoken to a group of people, and then when I got done, I started remembering all the things I didn't say. Sometimes it's so hurtful, and this could be with anything in life. It could be with your career. It could be with, the choice of course you study at college, or, whatever it is. This tells me, she says, there is no wrong decision if you make a decision based on the information you have at that time. There's no wrong decision. Stop being afraid to become. Stop being afraid to experiment. There's nothing wrong with stepping out, and if that doesn't work, change your mindset, change direction. So you all, I'm leaving here with just one thing. You have only one life on this earth. Don't waste it. You are so much more. And your potential to achieve is so much more. And I want every single person to tap into this, get this book, and become all that you are. Thank you.
Thank you so much. On that note, I'm going to have to interrupt. I've been told by those behind the scenes that it's time to move on. I'm sure all the ladies are sort of burning to ask questions, burning to make their contribution, burning to make their comments. Before we go on to that, you know, I just going to abuse my privilege very, very briefly. Blessing says that I only compete with myself every day just because I want to be better than me. I am my own competition. So that's something for you to take away. This is an iron sharpens iron.